Wesley is waiting for the school bus on a country road. He got on the bus and just sat in the back row. At school for the deaf, students are taught to sign language to speak. One of Wesley's classmates always bully you by rubbing dirt into his hair. He got off the bus at the curb and walked home through the woods, living in a small community. At family dinner, Wesley's mother reads the notice of late payment. She asked her children what they wanted for dinner. Wesley's sister said the little girl wanted a crocodile for dessert. They joked about it and had a great time. After dinner, Wesley played chess with his mother in the month of May. It seems like your mom let you win. To cheer Wesley, the next day on the way to school, Wesley saw an obstacle in the road. There are many police cars and ambulances near the building. When he got home from school, his mother said that his father had returned after a long absence. Wesley was a little reluctant when his father asked him to hug him. The boy was not really happy to see his dad. Ronnie worked as a truck driver and said he didn't know. When will the boss send you on another trip? At dinner, Ronnie talks about a shooting happening nearby, killed 4 people and caused a stir in the press. Mother changed the subject and said that Wesley got 95 on the test and made only one mistake. In question, his father didn't really care about this achievement. He just nodded and said that it was a difficult question. The mother asked Wesley if he wanted more food and signed these words in sign language. Ronnie wants her to stop doing that because the boy can read or wear a hearing aid, and they should treat you like a normal person. If not, later you will find it difficult to adapt to life in society. The mother then asked Wesley without a sign, and he nodded. Ronnie said with satisfaction that the boy heard very well. The next morning, Ronnie told Wesley that his mother will stay overnight at his grandmother's house and he will take care of you. He gave Wesley his school lunch bag. When Wesley opened lunch, the bully bothers him again. However, Wesley still did not resist and ignored it. On the way home, he found a man lying in the snow, holding a The man's bag looked at him and signaled for him to be quiet. His hands were covered in blood and looked like they had been there for a long time. The boy ran to call his father for help, but Ronnie was fixing the machine and didn't want to be bothered. He doesn't understand Wesley symbols and say write on paper. Wesley decided to run down to where the man was lying and his father Theo. After they returned to the place, Wesley found it deserted. During dinner, Ronnie asked Wesley to pass him salt, but Wesley didn't hear. Then he tried to scream louder and scared his daughter. Wesley left the bedroom in the evening and decided to go find the homeless man. While his father was sleeping, Wesley searched near where he first saw the man and finally found him. He pulled him onto a sled, tied to a belt and dragged to an abandoned warehouse. He put the man on the hay and covered me with a warm blanket. When the man opened his eyes, Wesley signaled silence. Completely exhausted, the homeless man fell asleep again. When I woke up the next morning and found the boy still there. While talking to Wesley, he realized that the boy couldn't hear anything. When he pulled up his sweater, Wesley found that he had a gunshot wound. Wesley returned home to get some medical supplies. Wesley brings medical supplies to the man and let him sew up the wound himself. He ate Wesley's candy bar and said, "Do you have anything else to eat?" On TV is broadcasting about the shooting that happened earlier. While Wesley's parents were watching the news, Wesley sneaks his dinner into the toy box. Ronnie left home with the excuse of having to meet a colleague. Wesley brings food to the man, and he commented that Wesley's mother cooks very well. Later, he explained that he could not stay here any longer because need to meet a friend. He tried to stand up but failed. Before walking a few steps, they also heard the sound of the plane. Search helicopters fly over. The man asked Wesley a favor and give specific instructions on what to do. Told him to go to a roadside cafe. Left the man's ring on the truck. The truck driver just left the cafe with a girl. Saw the ring on his car and put Wesley in the car. Boy, give driver an envelope but refused. Tell him where the man is. At that moment, a police car passed by. Truck driver said he needs time to sort things out, and it will take at least a few weeks. He gave Wesley a paper bag. When Wesley returned, he gave the bag to the man. He pulled out a phone and said that he would have to stay here longer. Expected, the boy brought him some of his father's warm clothes. Wesley watches the man exercise and try to imitate his movements. The man approached and taught him how to do A moment later, Wesley was watching TV with his sister. Then his mother came home. His father also returned with a pile of firewood in his hand. He dropped a few pieces, and Wesley rushed to help. But instead of picking them up, he started to put them away for his father to take away. Ronnie was angry because the boy didn't hear him and screamed, "Stop!" Then Wesley brought the checker set to the man, and they played a few games. Wesley lost and felt angry and threw the whole chessboard over. The man said, "You think I'll let you win just because you're deaf? You only win when you deserve to win." Wesley wants to give up, but the man told him to go back. He started teaching him some tricks and advised you to think carefully before doing it. Man asked Wesley, "How old?" and said that he also had a daughter. "About your age?" He also asked about what was stuck in his hair. Wesley talks about being bullied at school. The man asked him to bring a thermos into a piggy bank. He broke the piggy bank, filled the thermos with coins, put the jar in a bag, and slammed into a metal tank. Later, he gave Wesley the backpack and asked him to follow. But Wesley can't hit hard. The man began to scold him to arouse his anger. "What the hell is wrong with you? Stop acting like such a wimp. Hit it hard like you mean it." Wesley lost his temper and banged on the tank. At school, Wesley feels restless. He sat in class waiting for lunch break. The bully finally approached him at lunchtime. Wesley suddenly stood up, looked straight into the eye aggressively. He remembered the man's words. "Keep calm, stand firm, look him straight in the eye, and smash his fucking head. Rah!" And it worked. When coming home, he saw his mother talking to his father. "You sit down." And Mr. Chomber told about the robbery that happened 3 weeks ago. He said that 4 of the 5 robbers had been caught, but 1 escaped. Mr. Cho Wesley showed the photo of the escaped criminal, and Wesley realized it was the man in the warehouse. They know he is injured and may not be able to run far. Wesley looks out the window and saw 2 agents observing the warehouse from outside. Mr. Chamber asked, "Did Wesley see that man?" And Wesley was silent. Another agent knocked on the door and Mr. Chambers left. Then when playing checkers, Wesley noticed the man was missing 1 finger on the left hand. The man said that a tiger bit off his finger. Then he learned to follow the skin tracks of the hunt. It finally killed the tiger and tightened its heart, and he attached it to the ring. Wesley fell asleep on the hay like a man. Wake him up and tell him to go home. Go to school in the morning. The next day, Wesley painted his fingers black to look like your new friend. He taught the man the oath of allegiance. In sign language, they play together like father and son. When Wesley ran to pick up the ball, you don't realize that the sheriff was looking through the warehouse window. The man suddenly grabbed him, cover his mouth, and pull out a gun. But the sheriff then left. That evening, Wesley intended to go to the warehouse. His father noticed and asked where he was sneaking off to. Drunk dad grumbled that nothing in the house works properly, from tractor to TV, and he can't fix them. He said that his father could fix everything in the past just by hitting hard. Then he started banging on the TV, kicking it, and screaming. The next morning, Wesley brought toilet paper to the warehouse and tried to leave. The man quickly stopped him and saw the bruises on his face. He asked school, "What made you like that?" Wesley did not reply and quietly left. The man realized it was Wesley's father who caused it. Mother checks bruises, but Ronnie lead that Wesley accidentally got hit by the elbow. When he was punching the TV. During dinner, Ronnie said he will take his son fishing, but Wesley doesn't understand without sign language. Later, his mother translated his father's words, and Wesley agreed to go fishing. Although his eyes still showed worry. That night, Ronnie drank at the bar. When he went out to go to the toilet, then a strange man approached. Ronnie is upset. Ask what you want. Next, Wesley and his mother received a call from the sheriff. Announced that Ronnie was beaten and is in hospital. At dinner that night, Wesley finally sat in his favorite seat, the place where Johnny had chased him out before. After dinner, he went to the warehouse. The man said that when he was Wesley's age, his father bought the horses and make him take care of them, but not let name them. One day, the warehouse caught fire and the insurance paid for everything. His father thought that the unnaming of horses will make it easier to let them go. In a daze, the man muttered that he would take Wesley with him, and they can live together. His daughter will take care of the horses. The next morning, school students learn a new phrase in sign language. I will travel. Wesley closed his eyes and imagine yourself taking care of a horse. On the farm, with the man in the warehouse and his daughter. When he visited his father in the hospital, saw 2 investigators give a photo of the man. To identify that afternoon, the man revealed that there is a snowplow coming by. Frequent. Sometimes it pulls over and stops in front of the house. Wesley wakes up at night and noticed the flashing lights of the police car and helicopter headlights. The next day, the man said that all day, snowplow never passed. He asked Wesley if he told AI about him and warn you. Wesley carries his backpack to the warehouse. Man, as usual, asked what he brought for dinner, but Wesley looked confused. The man grabbed Wesley's backpack, but he did not let go. The backpack opens, and a thermos full of coins fell out. Wow. He told Wesley to get ready for the next night. The next night, Wesley packed the toys into a bag, and before leaving, he came to his sister and said, in sign language, that he was going on a trip. He plays chess with the man, and this time, Wesley finally won. The truck driver called and told him to get out. The man handed Wesley the chessboard and said, "Don't lose it. Goodbye." But Wesley was stunned because he thought they would go together. In despair, Wesley said the first word in his life. He hugged the man tightly and wouldn't let go. He tried to explain, but Wesley didn't listen. Forced him to lose, pushed him away, and told him to leave the warehouse. Wesley ran outside and was caught by a policeman. Dropped the chessboard. Sitting in a police car, he saw the father give the order to attack. Wesley saw the truck driver. In another police car, the man started shooting and was killed. Wesley tried to scream in pain, but you can't make a sound. The next day, he found a chessboard full of money near the warehouse, and on it is the man's ring. When he got home, he saw his father. Wesley is no longer afraid of him. He went up to the sad and angry man and hugged him. Wesley went into his room, sat on the bed, and put on a ring on the hand. The movie ends here. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos.